If you think back over a period of nearly 45 years that Gary has been involved in the Dameron family and the Angus breed of cattle, you know, where they have progressed to today, because I know Gary from college days, and not realizing at that particular time when we were both in the fraternity together that he had this passion to breed cattle, and to breed cattle in the purebred sector of the industry, and you know, in the early 70s began breeding Angus cattle.
I, you know, could see that there was probably more future in this breed than any of the others. I mean, I showed shorthorn steers and Hereford steers and didn't show many Angus steers because I couldn't afford them. You know, after I got out of school, we had some commercial cattle, and I picked up a few Angus cows here and there. And I guess what really got me started, I was looking for a bull in the late 60s, and ran across a bull in Nebraska that I liked a lot, and we ended up buying the bull, and we ended up showing him some. He won the preview show here in Illinois. He won, I think, 3 state fairs and won his class at the International. And I sold an interest in him for quite a bit of money, and that's basically how we really got going in the Angus business. The point where we're at in the beef cattle industry today, I think, you know, I think we're at a good point. You know, I think the cattle that we're selecting are cattle that, for the most part, fit well in all segments of the industry. And going back to that bull I talked about in 1969, I mean, the cattle that were popular in the very late 60s and the early 70s would be popular today. Unfortunately, we didn't stop there. We just kept making them taller and taller, and I mean, there was a period of time there that the only way cattle were evaluated was by how tall they were. And I mean, everybody had a measuring stick, and it was ridiculous. We raised a bull that won Denver. The Angus Queen is behind the bull in this picture holding the banner, and the Angus Queen is about as tall as I am. And she had a cowboy hat on top of her head. And the bull his back is 6 inches taller than her top of her cowboy hat, at least. We've always tried to produce cattle that we felt would work in all segments of the industry. So, I mean, we've obviously been a little lucky with the show ring deal, but you know, we've produced cattle that'll, I think, or I hope we're producing cattle that'll work for everybody today.
There's few that have done it any better than Dameron Family, and they've had a lot of documented success at every level, including the most coveted shows in the country.
You know, we've run about 200 cows now. We've got probably 300 or 400 acres of pasture that we've got access to. We'd have 1,500 acres or so in row crops.
We probably want 75% of our calves born between January and the middle of May. And then typically, you know, we would like to have, you know, 25% of our calves calve in that fall time period. And we'll have a few that'll calve, you know, late summer, probably like about 60 to 70 spring-born heifer calves, maybe 30 spring-born bull calves, and then, you know, 40 to 50 fall-born calves as well. We market a lot of those spring-born calves in our fall production sale. Obviously, we keep some additional calves to make replacements out of, and also sell as bred heifers the following year. We've got a couple places that we'll put embryos in right now. We've got a place down by Petersburg, Illinois, where we'll put some embryos in. We've also got a place in Kentucky where we'll put some embryos in. For example, this year we probably have close to 104 or 5 spring-born embryo calves, and then we'd have another purebred Angus, probably close to 100 purebred Angus cows, and I'd say 70% of those would be AI.
I mean, this is probably as big as we've been, and we do a lot of embryo work. We've done a lot of IVF work of late.
In vitro fertilization and reverse sorting semen so that we can raise more heifer calves relative to bull calves here on our operation. We do a really good job at marketing larger groups of females than per se larger groups of males. So, ideally in our operation, we probably want to have 2/3 to 3/4 females to bulls, just to take advantage of the opportunities that we have selling Angus show heifers in a lot of cases. So, the IVF technology is something we've utilized a great deal here lately, and will continue to utilize, I think, in the future.
The proof is in the pudding too, because they have one of the most successful marketing programs anywhere in the country. They have one of the most successful, if not the most successful, live animal auctions in the fall, and they also have a very successful online sale in the spring for younger calves. They market all the bulls off the farm, and they have consigned some bulls in the West over the past few years, but a lot of it's private treaty, and it's just they cover all the bases, I guess.
From an educational standpoint, I can't say enough of Gary and his entire family with regard to their support of livestock judging and the educational sector, not only in Illinois, but nationwide for that matter. Been to the Dameron Angus farm many times over the years with student teams and workouts, and always happy to have us. Always challenging workouts, I might say, Gary, but at the same time, just great to have us there.
Well, it's a lot deeper than just the cattle for the Dameron family. The Angus cattle have been very important to them, but the activities and the people that surround the Angus breed have also been a big part of their success. They have been no strangers to leadership positions as well. Both Jeff and Gary served as president of our Illinois Angus Association. Gary served as president of the National Angus Board. Dameron has been the president of the Illinois Auxiliary. And Christy, Jeff, and Julie all served on the National Junior Angus Board of Directors. So I think you can see that this is a family that has accepted leadership positions as they've been presented, and has served our breed and the industry very well.
I know what he's put into this farm, and I really appreciate and respect and admire what he's able to do, really starting with nothing and turning it into an operation I think is very well respected within the purebred industry and within the Angus industry. And I know he started from nothing. So and I'm fortunate that I don't have to, that I can in some cases ride on his coattails, and I don't take that lightly, and so it's up to me to help to continue to move this operation forward and make it viable for years to come. And as I mentioned earlier, if there's an opportunity for my kids or another one of my siblings' kids that want to be involved with the operation, that it's there for them to do. I think what I enjoy the most about the Angus business and about our operation, in a lot of cases, the people that I work with and the people that I meet. That's probably what keeps me excited or energetic, is a lot of those folks that we've worked with 10 or 20 years, are still purchasing cattle from us, and we've formed really strong partnerships with those folks. In a lot of cases, we help them market their cattle, and in some cases, they help us market our cattle. So I think that's probably the best part of our business is the people that you work with.
The thing that I guess I'm most proud of is the effect that we've been able to have on not only my family, but a lot of other families. You know, we built a relationship with lots of people around the country over the years, and I guess that's what I'm most proud of.